The views and opinions on this show do not necessarily reflect the views of ESPN Tucson 1490 AM, 94.9 HD Channel 4, or the Arizona Lotus Corporation.
Spears and Ali, weekday morning 7 to 9 on 1490 AM, 94.9 HD4 ESPN Tucson.
Out of time, they ruled off the shot. We're going to overtime. And Mr. Backer, you're quite prophetic.
It is the one, the only proud sponsor of Spears and Ali, Paul Volpe. What's going on, Volpe? How's it going?
Let's go. It's Friday.
Yeah.
It's Friday. We got Arizona basketball tomorrow.
By the way, how handsome he is on the video, he's even more handsome in person.
Oh, I know.
It's true. It's true. And as cool as you hope Paul Volpe is, he's even cooler.
The coolest.
Yeah, he is.
Well, here's how cool Paul Volpe is. So you invited me to your fantasy football draft. I was the auctioneer.
Yeah.
Made some friends. All the guys were awesome. It was such a great time. I think Paul might have said 6 words the entire night, but was the coolest guy. Everyone wanted to be Paul Volpe that night.
So I sat next to him all night, right? And he said 6 words. Every single one of them were hilarious and well-timed. And then it ended up, me and Paul were in the championship game together, and Paul Volpe is the 2024 Franco's Italian Brigade champion.
Wow.
Him and Matt Dixon. I have to say his last name right now because he's a champion. I can't say Dickinson anymore. So Matt Dixon and Paul Volpe, they triumphed over Frenchie Fuqua Yu, and congratulations on being the champ. So
Year two in the league too. That's pretty normal, right?
yeah,
Man.
Year 2 in the league.
You're 2 in the league and already winning championships.
Just taking over.
How long did it take for you to win your first title?
Oh, year 1, buddy.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Okay.
come on.
Commissioner always wins?
No, I mean,
Year 1?
yes,
Yeah.
yes. Wow, the point totals, they always change from Sunday to Monday. It's weird.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
All those directions.
But Paul Volpe and the Volpe team at Nova Home Loans, they're a proud sponsor of Spears and Ali, along with our good friends over at Tucson Federal Credit Union. We are so thankful for all of our sponsors and supporters here on Spears and Ali. And Volpe, you're also a proud booster of Arizona basketball, and you've been on the road with the Wildcats. What's it been like for you experiencing Big 12 country for the first time ever?
Yeah, no, it was awesome. It was a long trip. It was 6 days. I'm sure the wife wasn't thrilled I was gone for so long, and obviously I didn't realize it was going to be that long of a trip until you're really there. But we spent a few days in Cincinnati. Obviously got to see Brigger's hometown. Spent a lot of time with some of his family. Obviously he's a food aficionado, so took us to Skyline Chili and a few other spots in town, and then made our way over to Morgantown, which was pretty awesome. But yeah, the weather was pretty terrible. So I heard it was like the hottest in the U.S. and Tucson, and here we were in like 20-degree weather in Cincinnati and Morgantown. So a lot of hotel time.
Volpe, Skyline Chili, is it the truth or overrated?
I mean, if you like cheese and beans, I mean, it's amazing if you're into that. But I was expecting more, but obviously, I got to give it another shot next time I'm back. And now that I kind of know the menu, get the 3-way, 4-way, no onions type stuff, and but no, I'll definitely try it again, and I'll give it another shot for sure.
I want to get into the trip from Cincinnati to Morgantown in a second, but can you articulate like how special it was for a guy like Brigger to go to his hometown, be able to show you guys around, and then Arizona ends up beating Cincinnati, and the coaching staff, they pick him up and carry him into the locker room. I mean, can you describe the camaraderie and the love that this team has for Brian Brigger and how special that trip was for him?
No, I mean, Brigger is he's the glue guy for the program. I mean, he's been around for a long time. Obviously, he's the most popular guy because he gets all the gear and gets it out to the right guys and whatnot. But going into Cincinnati, I mean, all he can talk about was, he owns the city. He said that probably about 100 times on the trip. Definitely said it about 1,000 times after we won. But yeah, going there, I mean, the guy was just on cloud 9. He was like our personal tour guide. We're driving in the bus going through Cincinnati and just pointing in different ways. I mean, should have given the guy a mic and a tip jar because he was out there doing some work for sure. But I know the guys knew how much this meant to him, and Tommy brought it up several times, pre-game about, let's dig a little deeper for our guy Brian. This is, he's a Xavier guy, and Cincinnati is kind of like, Arizona State is to us. And he made it a point to let everybody know he's never lost there. And again, the team came together and pulled it through for him. But it was awesome. The guy was just a maniac during the game too.
So let me ask you this: you and I are used to going on trips in the Pac-12. We go to Pullman and we go to Corvallis, and it's the atmosphere. All due respect, sucks at those places. I mean, they're hyped to play Arizona, but there's no tradition. What was it like playing at Cincinnati, where they do have a tradition of good basketball and a really good fan base?
No, yeah, they showed up. Place was sold out, even though the weather wasn't great. The venue there is really nice. We did have a chance to practice at Cintas Center before, where Xavier plays, and checked out that facility. But those people definitely came to play. They were, like I said before, they weren't really thrilled with Brigger's behavior during the game, because he was just very vocal, clapping when the other team was shooting free throws. I was sitting behind Brian, and you had a fan that actually came down at one of the timeouts and like walked by him, gave him the eye, and said, "Classless," and he kept walking, and a few people behind him. So they're definitely passionate about it. But it was awesome to see, when we had the lead at the end, and the crowd started to leave a little early, and then you had the U of A chants that broke out. I think Liam Lloyd started out the chant initially, and hopefully everyone heard us say U of A on the screen. So
I want your perspective of just the entire season, because Arizona had a tough non-conference schedule, and it looked like they were struggling. They did struggle. And then going into Big 12 play, there were a lot of people kind of skeptical about how the Wildcats would look in conference play leading up to the tournament. And Arizona looks like a different team than what we saw in those early season struggles. What do you think has been key to the Arizona basketball turnaround?
Yeah, I think obviously it's coaching's. They've had to kind of readjust a few things. With Mo out, I know that was something that no one was expecting, and so Henry stepped up quite a bit and taken his place and doing an awesome job. But it's been a tough run. We definitely had some tough opponents. Oklahoma turned out to be better than I think everyone expected. I think at the end of the day, we lost some pretty close games, one possession games. I think you look at our KenPom luck rating. I think we're one of the unluckiest teams on KenPom for that. Doesn't mean anything, but we've lost some close games, and fortunately since the Bahamas, Tommy's turned it around, and the rest of the coaching staff and really finding some of those players that have come in to step up. I know Carter what he went 9 for 9 or 10 for 10 over the weekend.
Yeah.
So he's stepped up quite a bit, and just kind of figuring out those rotations and getting those guys to show up. But it was awesome to see KJ have an amazing game in West Virginia and kind of picked up where Caleb left off from Cincinnati. So these guys, they rise to the right occasion, and excited to see how things progress. And obviously need to make sure we don't take our foot off the pedal. We got a big game against UCF this weekend, and we got to make sure our crowd shows up as well.
Volpe, you guys get on the plane from Cincinnati to Morgantown, and as special as Cincinnati was to Brigger, I think the trip to Morgantown was special to you for another reason. Can you kind of talk about your experience in West Virginia, and what you did that was real special?
Yeah. So I was obviously don't get to go back to Ohio or West Virginia or that often, obviously, unless we're going to see a Steelers game. But my father's from a little town called Powhatan Point, Ohio, which is about 70 miles outside of Morgantown. And so I was looking at the schedule, and obviously was a little stressed out with the weather as well, but I found a time that would work and rented a car Monday morning in the middle of a snowstorm, and drove out to my dad's hometown. And my father passed away when I was 19, and so this was the second time I've been back since we buried him in Powhatan, and so getting out there was pretty special. It took about 2 hours to make the trip out there, and went to some family friends, went to my dad's gravesite, drove around the town, again in the middle of a snowstorm, and it was just special being back there, and gave my dad my love, and left a picture for him on the grave, and then went to a family friend's house and had some chili and talked about the Steelers, and big Steeler country out there, and then made my way back, and was able to make the shoot around at West Virginia a couple hours later. But it was pretty special, and I'm excited the fact that we'll have opportunities not only in basketball but also football and other sports to get out to West Virginia, and I definitely will make it a point to visit my dad more often, for sure.
How much did your dad influence your sports fandom outside of the Pittsburgh Steelers?
Yeah, I mean, my dad was a local stud. He was an all-state pitcher, won the state championship when he was a freshman. I grew up being a Pirates fan because of my dad. He was drafted by them in high school. Decided to knock up his high school sweetheart, and had my two brothers, John and Jimmy, and so that kind of derailed that. But my number one piece of memorabilia from my dad was when he passed away. He passed away in '99, but he got the '97 championship ball, one of the first ones to be signed by Wood Olson. So that was my very first piece of memorabilia that was extremely special, that I have in our house. And so, that definitely set off my love for collecting all things U of A. And again, used to take me to all the football games and Knot Hole Club, back in the day at Arizona Stadium for football, and went to a couple basketball games. Didn't have a lot of money back then, but definitely, fueled my fire for the Wildcats. He was also an Ohio State Buckeye fan, so I kind of followed them as well.
Okay.
Oh, well, I think your dad is looking down and about to get a national championship the way they're playing, and a true gesture of love. And my love for Volpe grew even more when I saw the picture of him at his dad's gravesite. Put a terrible towel on it. That's what Steelers fans are all about, man.
Oh, yeah.
It's not like the Ravens, fly by night bandwagon guys. So let me ask you this, Volpe, from an Arizona basketball perspective and being a body language doctor, in Cincinnati, but really in Morgantown at West Virginia, when I saw the joy and the togetherness of this team is something that was off the charts, I thought, at West Virginia. And it was no more present than when, Tommy sacked Caleb for an extended period in that second half. But the first guy that was standing up clapping and the first guy to, give high fives to the guys coming off the floor was Caleb Love. Did this team really bond over this trip as much as I think they did?
Yeah, I think they definitely bond. They've been bonded for a while. I mean, I spent time with them in the Bahamas, and obviously that didn't go the way we wanted it to be. But with this trip, being it was a longer trip, being 6 days basically, and the weather again not really cooperating, there was definitely a lot of one-on-one time with everybody in the hotel, and being around them, and it's going to the team breakfasts and lunch and dinners. These guys, they stick together, and they play a game of Uno on their phone through an app, and it's pretty funny to see these guys play, because it's a very intense game of Uno. They'll either play it on the app or they actually play it with the cards. But these guys were after the West Virginia game, we had an hour drive to Pittsburgh, and man, it was a party back there, and just everyone's yelling, I got +4 and he's got red, and it was just chaos. But they all get along. They're all good kids. Tommy's done a really good, awesome job of building a culture there, and Tommy's such a good person, and so is Coach Murph and TJ and Rem and PK and Coach Rob. All these guys are really good people, and they really bring a family sense to this team, which is amazing to see.
I'm glad they're playing Uno, not Boo-Ray. That's what got Gilbert Arenas in some trouble.
Yeah.
But man, hearing them play Uno, that's some good stuff right there.
I don't know what Bure is, but I know what you're talking about. Volpe, who's the kind of under the radar funniest guy on the team?
I think Addison, he's hilarious. He took some time off to go on a mission down to Argentina, but that guy is so funny. Carter Bryant, he's such a good kid, very, very well articulated, really smart, has a lot of faith in his team, and just a really good kid. And Caleb, Caleb's he's quiet, but he's a good kid. But I know with I think the night before the West Virginia game, we had dinner at the hotel, and Tommy put together. He sent me a text. He's like, "Make sure you're there at 7:00. We're doing a team bonding, team building exercise." And Tommy went to the team and everybody that was there, coaches and some of the staff, and asked them 5 questions. And we all spent time writing it on this letter, and then we kind of broke out into sessions and talked about it with 5 or 6 people, and then we kind of broke out into a big session where everyone kind of went around the room and started talking, asking these questions, and everyone had kind of a chance to give an answer to one of the questions that they had to ask. And some of the questions were like, what's your dream vacation? Another one was like, what's your best childhood memory? What was a tough moment in your life? And another one was, who was the name of your first girlfriend? And then and kind of went into the sports in terms of, what are 2 things you want our team to show for tomorrow, as well as, what's one thing you want to accomplish tomorrow as well. And so, that probably took, a little over an hour, and everyone was engaged and really, some tears were kind of shed on some of these questions, and but it was really cool to kind of get everyone to kind of open up, and everyone had, a couple minutes or so to kind of share something about themselves. And it was just a really awesome thing that Tommy did, and really kind of brought these guys together.
That's incredible.
Don't you think, just kind of wrapping it up, that I think Tommy Lloyd is an excellent basketball coach. I mean, and that's a fact. I think he's a better team builder. Based on you being behind the scenes, Bahamas, East Coast, would you agree with that, or do you think there's another attribute that I'm missing?
No. I mean, he's an amazing person. I mean, he's down to earth. As you spent time with him. He's got empathy. He, I don't think he has any kind of like an ego that you think some of these head coaches have. I mean, he's very easygoing, very easy to talk to. Definitely, lets his staff have say in some things. I don't think he runs it like a dictatorship or anything like that, and really listens to his players as well. But he's just a good person, and we're very fortunate to have him, and I'm excited to kind of see how this season's unraveling, and gotta keep this winning streak going.
Volpe, he's also like one of the goofiest people I know, and when I see you next, I'm going to tell you the conversation he had with Snoop Dogg's security, and I'm just like, you are the funniest, goofiest guy I've ever met. And the security guard was just chuckling at his questions. So I will tell you off the air. But
that's awesome.
Thanks for being on. And go ahead.
Yeah, we did sneak off Saturday night to go watch the Steeler Bengals game after in some random dive bar in Cincinnati. So I was wearing my Steeler jersey, and he's like, "Volpe, you got to put that away." So it was a lot of fun.
Yeah. Hey, meet Joe Green, buddy. Hey, I got his grandson a Lloyd jersey. He's got to get into this Steelers thing, man.
Yeah,
he's got to buy in. That's the last thing we need from Tommy. You just need to buy into the Steelers thing. You want to be friends with me and Volpe? It'll help.
We'll get him there. Even though Paul Diaz is trying to get him to be at 49ers, so we got some work to do.
Yeah.
All right, Volpe. Well, we got to go to commercial break. That is Tucson legend, Arizona basketball booster, Paul Volpe, also proud sponsor of Spears and Ali. Paul, thank you so much again for taking time out of your day to be a part of us, and thank you for your support.
And before you answer, I just want to say in front of your face, listen, I say this all the time on the show, do business with businesses and people that make your community a better place. And no one is better at that, and no one does more for our community than Paul Volpe and Nova Home Loans. So refi Want to buy a house? Call Nova Home Loans.
Love you
Ask
guys.
for Paul Volpe. You'll get the personal touch. I know it.
Appreciate it.
I'll second that.
Raven
Paul.
and Steelers fans coming together for love of Paul Volpe.
Hey, that was my first career. It was my first job. Paul Volpe gave me a chance. So
Yeah.
you bet on this kid. So
Hey,
let's go.
I love you, Zach, but get that Ravens jersey off me, man.
All right, let's go to a commercial break. More Spears and Ali coming up next.